I'm hoping as we go to our next guest, Geroy Simon, the news will be a little better. He joins us from, if I can get a look at him here, Surrey, BC, I assume in the Lions practice facility. Good morning, Geroy. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going good, Geroy. So much to talk to you about. Lions Riders here colliding in week 6, but we just got to go back a little bit. Your Lions 1-4. What's the temperature out there?
It's obviously guys are, we're kind of upset with our record right now, but at the same time, we still feel optimistic. We feel like we have a ton of good players. Guys just need to come together and play better. That's kind of the gist of it. We feel we have the talent. We feel we have the right plan. And in a nutshell, guys need to, players need to play and make plays.
Is that, I guess that's, what's the message out there? Because, we're watching the TSN broadcast Thursday. You're there. And everybody's pointing out the sacks, the 5 sacks by halftime and so forth. Is it just the offensive line, or are they getting too rough of a ride here right now from fans and the media?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's, receivers not, catching the ball. There's a number of different reasons why we're where we're at, but that's where players need to step up and take hold of the team, because like I said, I think the coaches are doing a good job. I think I just think the players need to play a little better. I mean, obviously it's not whatever I say, it doesn't matter, but just looking at it from the outside, it just looks like the players need to make a few more plays, and got to be a little more physical and play a little smarter.
Geroy, Marshall Hamilton here. I'm just curious, we're broadcasting out of Saskatchewan, where Doron Carter was a fixture here for a couple of seasons, controversial fixture. I'm wondering if you have an opportunity to talk to him one-on-one, and if you do, what's the messages you're trying to convey to him to be successful in this league?
Well, I think Doron's been he can be a very good addition to this team. I think again he needs to make more plays, but I don't I speak to him. I say hi to him when I see him, but I don't talk to the players as much as I did in the past as far as what they need to do. I kind of leave that to the coaches. But in the end, he has superstar talent, and he and everybody else can do a lot better job of using that talent and start making more plays.
Cody Fajardo, who you would know well, you guys had him out there the last couple of years, leads the Riders against your Lions here Saturday night at Mosaic Stadium. What are you seeing out of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Geroy, with him at the helm here the last few weeks?
It looks like a bit of a tough game a few weeks ago, but he's showing signs that he can be a very good quarterback in this league. We saw the same things when he was here. It's just a matter of he didn't have a great opportunity to show that. We know that he can make plays. We know that he can do a lot of things with athletically that can help your team, and he's starting to show that there in Saskatchewan. But in the end, if you get pressure on the quarterback, if you're in his face, you can hurt him a little bit. But I think he has plenty of talent, and we gotta get after him and start making plays on both offense, defense, and special teams.
Week 6 is pretty early for two teams looking at must-win games, wouldn't you say? That's what I think this is Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing a divisional game and you haven't, both teams are 1-3 and 1. Definitely we got to start winning some games. We don't want to fall too far behind. You can get back into it, but you don't want to climb that mountain because it's a tough road to climb each and every week. It's basically every game seems like a playoff game, and then by the end of the season you're worn out. So you don't want to get into too many must-win games. But at the same time, this is a divisional game. It's not really a two-point game. It can be a 4-point game. So we just got to come out and make some plays and find a way to win.
You, of course, do scouting for the BC Lions. NFL training camps are opening up here, depending on the team, about 10 days or so. Have you got your schedule mapped out? Or are you heading to some NFL camps, finding players?
Yeah, I'll be heading out on the 27th. I get to go to a couple new teams that I hadn't been to on the scouting circuit. I'm starting at Kansas City, and I hadn't been to Kansas City since they cut me in 2001, so I'm looking for getting out there. And then I'll be doing some of the AFC North, and then watch the Redskins and the Tennessee Titans. So I get to about 8 camps, so I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be 3 weeks of being on the road, living out a suitcase. But I'm looking forward to finding the next great BC Lions and CFL players for the next for the next couple of years.
We got a question here. It's from our producer, Clark. He says, what are Geroy's thoughts on the finding quarterbacks topic we talked about the other day? The point being, you look at Calgary and what Nick Arbuckle's doing and what everybody's done in Calgary before him, Bo Levi, Flutie, Garcia, Dickinson, you name it. And I said, what's the common thread? Huff and Dave Dickinson. The quarterback appears to be able to find a quarterback. Are you more, Clark wants to know, comfortable finding wide receivers, all positions? Do you feel that it would take a quarterback to identify a great quarterback?
No, I think it comes down to just sitting and doing the research. When you look for a quarterback, it's a little different than looking for other positions. A lot of other positions, you can see the talent, you can see the toughness, you can see some of the intangibles that you look for in certain players within the first 10, 15 minutes of watching them. But with quarterbacks, you basically have to watch 5, 6, 7 games. Kind of see what makes them tick, see what kind of leader they are, and then you got to do a lot of background work. And then after you do all that and you bring them in, I think the one thing that Huff and Dave do, the same thing we did here in BC for a number of years with Wally, is when those guys are here, you got to give those guys reps. So you got to find reps throughout your practice, pre-practice and post-practice, and give them as many opportunities to see it and be in it. For them to develop, they're not going to be ready. You can see that Nick Arbuckle has gotten reps in practice, and he was here for mini camp, and unfortunately we didn't keep him, but he's a guy that it shows that he does his homework, he's gotten reps, and he's prepared himself. Like he was going to be a starter, even though he knew he wasn't going to play behind Bo. So it's just one of those things where you got to do extended research on these guys, and you got to understand that what type of players they are, what type of leaders they are, and what how they learn and make them successful.
Geroy, Marshall here. I'm not interested in becoming a scout, so that's not the basis for my question. But for those of us that wonder what is the role of a scout, you've talked about research and you've talked about traveling to different sites, but how much, what do you mean by research? And you're going to obviously watch lots of players and watch lots of football, but do you have an opportunity to talk to some of the players, and do you have an opportunity to talk to some of the coaches about players that might not fit in their system but could fit in the CFL system?
Well, the thing is, as far as the research is concerned, you basically, you could just scour the country or wherever you're at and kind of see who pops up. Then you go and you talk to the coaches, you talk to trainers, you talk to other players. For the most part, when I'm doing NFL and NCAA work, I don't talk to anybody as far as the players are concerned. I talk to coaches, I talk to GMs and player personnel guys, and they kind of give me a heads up on, all right, this guy's not going to make it, but this is what he is. Then you don't most people who are are pretty successful at this, you do your own research and you do your own due diligence on the player, just so you have a good understanding of what that player is. And, when it comes to, especially like I said, when it comes to quarterbacks, you want to see every throw. You want to see how they react when they miss a throw. You want to see how they react when they get sacked. What type of leadership? If you can find actual game footage of them. You watch that as well just to see, like I said, how they react in certain situations. And that's not on a highlight tape or something like that. But for the most part, coaches and trainers and things like that, they'll give you the correct information on what type of person and player guys are, because their reputation's on the line, and they want to be pretty, they want to be honest and forthcoming with information.
Geroy, last question. You've got a sports trip to Pittsburgh in September, NFL, college. What can you tell our viewers and listeners today about being a part of that?
Actually, that trip has been canceled.
Oh,
we
no.
are now going. It's going to be a better trip as opposed to going to Pittsburgh. We are now going to LA in December. It just gives people more time and a better opportunity to get football, basketball, as well as hockey. The date is going to be December 8th, and we're going to be going to LA, and you can travel to that trip. From anywhere in the country, as opposed to just from Vancouver. The more details will be coming. So once we finalize everything, we'll let you know. But we had to cancel that September date just because it was a little too close and we couldn't promote it the right way. So December 8th in Los Angeles is going to be a lot better time, a lot better opportunity. All
right, send me the details, Geroy. Love you, pal. Appreciate the time. We'll see you here on the weekend.
Thank you, man. We'll see you guys.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.